Good morning and namaskar to all of you. So let's start with our prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhu Bhuva Swaha, Tatsavitra Varenayam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. Asto ma Sadgamya Tamso ma Jyotirgamya Mrityorma Amritam Gamya Om Sahna Bhavatu Sahna Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahi Tejasvi Navadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahi Om Shanti 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 Om. So Thursdays we study Avadhuta Gita. And experience of what Avadhuta ji is talking about. Sure, first we have to know theoretically, but ultimately we have to experience too. It has to become our experience. And it will become our experience if we meditate. Meditation is the only way to experience this. Okay? And at the end of this class, we meditate. And I'm sure you meditate at home also. If you have any question on meditation, you can ask right now. And if you don't ask, I'm going to just talk a little bit about meditation before we start our class. Okay. There are many methods of meditation.
Before you start, I think Shimiji just unmuted herself. So do you have?
Yes. Yeah, Hershji, concentration नहीं हो पाता है मुझसे.
Yeah.
That
For
is
concentration, concentration, you got to choose a divine object to concentrate upon.
Yeah, I try to concentrate on Om or भगवान जी के, जो भी आ जाए मेरे मन में, जो भी मूर्ति आ जाए, कृष्ण है, राम है, जो भी आ जाए.
ये नहीं, जो भी नहीं. That's where the problem comes. जो भी नहीं. एक धारण करना. See, concentration, Sanskrit word for that is dharna. That means धारण करना. So for to धारण करने के लिए one.
अच्छा, तो is Om okay? Om is okay. Om is okay.
Okay too, but every single day, every time you meditate, it has to be Om only. That doesn't mean that you are disrespecting Ramji or Krishnji or Shivji. No. Okay, so you got to just choose one. One sound, one form. And then you will see that with the help of the practice, I'm going to give you a little bit technique over here. It's a very simple technique.
Okay.
So if you want to follow this, that's fine. But if you are doing what you are doing, continue doing it. Okay, but only on one thing.
Okay, thank you.
So the problem is that we just keep on switching from form to form and time to time. There has to be fixed time also. Then mentally you are ready. See, just like if you fix your time for dinner, you are hungry for that, hungry for dinner at that time. Your body tells you. So this way your mind tells you that you are ready to sit and connect with that higher power, which we call God. Okay. So there are many methods. Choose one method. Because in all those methods, the most important thing is be systematic. The system is needed. Because even if it's a best method, and if you don't do it systematically, it's not going to work. So today I'm going to go over, before we start our class, 9 points which are indispensable in a systematic practice. Okay. Step number 1, before practicing, freshen up a little. That means wash your hands. You want to wash your face, that's okay, but wash your hands at least. Wear comfortable clothes. Room where you meditate should be clean and the temperature moderate. So that these externals don't bother you. Your body doesn't bother you. Your clothes don't bother you. Your seat doesn't bother you. The environment doesn't bother you. So you are making it very conducive for your meditation. See, just like when we sleep, we make sure our bed is comfortable, sheets are clean, pillow is right? So the same thing we do for meditation. Wash your hands at least. Washing hands is very important. Okay. So step number 2, do a little relaxation practice. The best relaxation practice is alternate nostril breathing. That means breathe from one side, breathe out on the other. That's alternate breathing. Because when we breathe like this, we are bringing this energy which is inside our nervous system into a full balance. Okay, breathe in from one side. Don't worry whether you're breathing in from the right or left. Start either one. So breathe in from one, breathe out of the other. So do few rounds of that. Okay. Number 3, make a mental resolution that for the next 20 or 30 minutes, whatever you decide, you will not entertain any memories of the past and you will not plan for the future for that many minutes. Okay, so make a very strong resolve. So in a way, you are telling your mind, don't go into the past and don't go into the future. Stay here. Number 4, you can sit down at this point, cross your legs, if you can sit on the floor. If you cannot sit on the floor, make sure your sitting position on the chair is proper. That means both the feet should be touching the floor. Both the feet got to be parallel to each other. Back should be little away from the back of the chair. So you are sitting straight, comfortably. Make sure your head, neck, and trunk, they are aligned. Relax your shoulders. Let your hands rest on your knees or in your lap, palms facing up. So you are in that position, meditation. So mind, you have already brought the mind. Now your body also. Step number 5, close your eyes. Withdraw your mind from all directions. Mentally draw a beautiful circle of light around yourself. Mentally. This way you are separating yourself from the external world. Fill your mind and heart with the feeling of divine presence. Remind yourself that the divine light pervading the universe is present in you also. Now bring your attention towards your breath. Step number 6, breathe gently and naturally, without jerks, without pauses or noise. Make sure your breath is moving, flowing smoothly, evenly, soundlessly. That means as soon as you finish your inhalation, exhalation should start. Begin inhalation as soon as exhalation is finished. So it's like an unbroken circle of your breathing. So inhale, exhale without any effort. You should feel the chest moving slightly or not at all. Step number 7. Focus on your breath. Watch how it flows from your nostrils to your heart center as you inhale, and from the heart center to the nostrils as you exhale. Notice the breath as it passes the point where your nostrils meet your upper lip. So in other words, you are giving your mind narrower and a narrower place to focus on. Now deepen, step number 8, deepen your concentration on your breath. Allow your mind to follow the flow of your breath. With each inhalation, try to feel that your mind is traveling between your nostrils and your heart. And with each exhalation, back from the heart to the nostrils. So now you will see at this point, your breath and your mind, they are coming together. There is a oneness. They are flowing together as an inseparable stream of awareness. Go still deeper. There will be a very natural sound you should be able to hear. This sound is in your breath, which says, so hum. When the mind is quiet, you'll be able to hear this sound in your breath. So hum. Focus mentally on that sound. While you inhale, listen to the sound. So when you exhale, listen to the sound. You are not saying it. You are not imagining it. You are listening to it. It is already there. But most of the time, our awareness is into the externals, into our memories or into our anxieties. But we have to listen to this eternal sound. So let your mind, breath, and the sound of Soham flow together. Stay with this practice as long as you find enjoyable. After this, step number 9 is, if you have gotten initiation into a mantra or into a form, you can bring that form or the mantra right over here in your brikuti. Okay, so that visualize that form. So just like Shimiji was saying, Ram or Krishna, you can do that also, but just one. But if you have a guru and guru has given you a form, bring that form in your brikuti. But remember, this meditation, the fruit of the meditation depends upon how lovingly, how faithfully, how one-pointedly, how sincerely you practice. But every day, try to go through this ritual, washing your hands, sitting down, making sure all this is perfectly in order. Close your eyes and go through this. Bringing the mind from the grosser to the subtlest. Mind will enjoy it. Mind wants to enjoy this, but we just don't give enough time to the mind to go through this exercise. Try it this way. Breathing we all do. Sound, we all know how to listen to this grosser sound. Now I want you to listen to this subtle sound, which is there all the time. But we have not paid much attention to it. So you don't have to say it. It is there. This is like, just like God is there. We don't have to bring God from somewhere. God is there. We got to just focus on the divinity. The same way we have to focus mentally on this sound. So okay. So you can do Om also, but sometimes that becomes a little more complicated in the beginning. If it comes naturally, Om is fine. But Soham, you can break it down with the exhalation and the inhalation. So that's why I said breath, sound, and mind. Bring all three of them together. Okay. So try it. If you have any question, we can talk about it next week. But it's not only 15, 20, half an hour of meditation. We got to make sure that work on the vices, get rid of the greed from your mind, get rid of the selfishness, the ego, which are all deep rooted in our unconscious mind. We have to analyze our own mind. Cleaner the mind, quieter the mind, easier it will be in your control. Then we can experience what the Tatraj is telling us. Because towards the end of this chapter, he's going to tell us, meditate. The last verse of this chapter, he insists upon this, that meditation is going to give you this experience. Okay. So let's look at verse number 21. Ih sarv nirantar sarvachite. Ih keval nischal sarvachite. द्विपद आदि विवर्जित सर्वचिते किम उरोदिशी मानसी सर्व समम. It means here. Sarv means all. Nirantar, continuously or eternal. Sarv, all. Chite, in the consciousness. And Sarvachit means universal consciousness. Ich means this keval, absolute. This absolute means self alone. Keval. Nishchal, unmoving. Sarv, all. Chite, in the universal consciousness. Dvi means two. Pad means footed. Adi, etc. Vivarjit, free from. Sarv, all. Chite, in consciousness. Kim means why. U means indeed. Rodishi, weep. Manasi, in the mind. Sarv samam, same in all. Brahm, the absolute consciousness, pervades all living beings, as well as motionless objects of the world. And again it shines of itself, devoid of men and other things. See, Dvipad means people like us who walk on 2 feet. Dvipad. But then he says, Dvipad Adi, the others also. Devoid of men and other beings, being the self same, Brahma, O mind, why do you weep? So basically what he's saying, that Brahma is everywhere equally, all the time. There's no place where Brahma is not. Why are you crying? Why are you crying? What is the sorrow? What is the reason for sorrow? Ati sarv nirantar sarvgatam, ati nirmal nishchal sarvgatam, din ratri vivarjit sarvgatam, kim u rodishi manasi sarvsamam. Again, the last line is repeated again and again in all throughout the chapter. Ati means transcends. It's like a beyond. Sarv means all, nirantar, eternal, sarv all, gatam, pervading. Ati transcends, nirmal. Nirmal means free from stain. Nirmal. Mal is the stain, mal is the flaw. So that means pure. So nirmal means pure also. Nishchal, unmoving, still. Sarv all, gatam pervading. Din means day, ratri means night. Vivarjit, free from. Sarv all, gatam pervading or all permeating. Came why? Oh, indeed. Rodishi, weep. Manasi, in mind. Sarv samam, same in all. The omnipresent Brahma is beyond all. So no matter what our mind and intellect think that this is all, it's even beyond that. There's no end of it. So the omnipresent Brahma is beyond all, and again, it pervades all equally. Nirantar sarv gatam. It is exceedingly pure, nirmal, and tranquil, nishchal. So when something is moving, that is not tranquil. When mind is moving, it's not tranquil. Brahm is pure and tranquil. It exists without day and night. Okay? So day and night, we know the phenomena of day and night on this earth. It exists without day and night. Being the self-same Brahm, O mind, why do you weep? Nahi bandh, vi bandh, samagamanam. Nahi yog, viyog, samagamanam. Nahi tarak, vitarak, samagamanam. Kim u rodishi manasi sarva samama. No means not. He means therefore. Bandh, bondage. Vi bandh, freedom from bondage. So in other words, it's liberation. Samagamanam, coming together. Like a samagam. We are familiar with that term. Na means not. He means therefore. Yog, union, unity. Viyog, separation. Samagamanam, coming together of. Na means not. He means therefore. Tark is reasoning. Tarak is arguments. Samagamanam, coming together. Kim means why, U means indeed, Rodishi, weep, Manasi, in mind, Sarvasamam, same in all. Bondage and freedom, union and separation, reasoning, arguments, and such pairs of opposites do not converge in Brahma. Because Brahma is same. It's homogeneous. All these things what we are talking about, bondage, freedom, union, separation, they are duality or polarity. Brahma is self-same. Being the self-same Brahma, oh mind, why do you weep? Because normally we weep sometimes because of the separation. or we weep because of the opposites. We want this, we don't want that. So he says Brahm is everywhere, no matter what it is. In unity also, in separation also, in the reasoning also, in the arguments also. Brahm is all the time same. इह काल विकाल निराकरणम अनुमात्र कृशानु निराकरणम न हि केवल सत्य निराकरणम किम ऊम रोदशी मानसी सर्व समम. इह means here. Kal is time. Vikal, timeless. Nirakarnam, rejection. Anu means atom. Matra, being nothing but, like a matra. Anu matra. Krishanu. Krishanu means fire. So like an atom of fire. Krish, anu. Krishanu. Nirakarnam, rejection. No means not, he means therefore. Keval, self alone, absolute truth. Satya, truth. Nirakarnam, rejection. Kim, why? Who indeed? Rodishi, weep. Manasi, in mind. Sarvasamam, same in all. So the Tatreji is saying, in Brahma, time its divisions, such as morning and evening, those are the divisions, right? In Brahma, time and its divisions, such as morning and evening, have all been denied. Okay. The atom and the primordial atoms, or the elements, such as fire and air, that's what he really means, have also been negated. Because all these elements, the Prakriti, see, there's a Brahma and there's a Prakriti. So this is part of the Prakriti. So that's why he says they also have been negated, Nirakarnam. But the ultimate reality cannot be denied. Nahi keval satya nirakarnam. That's satya, the ultimate reality. Being the self-same Brahma mind, why do you weep? And most of our weeping is because of the Prakriti, because of the something different than Brahma. Our attachment to the non-Brahma, and we cry. He says, don't cry. That is not the reality. The absolute, the reality is Brahma, and it's everywhere, all the time, same. Ih deha videha vihina iti. Nanu swapana sushupti vihinaha param. Abhidan vidhan vihinaha param. Kim urodshi manasi sarva samam. Ih means here, deha means body. Videha, bodiless. Vihina, without. Iti means thus. Nanu, no doubt. Swapan, dream. Sushupti, the deep sleep. Vihina, without. Param, supreme one. Abhidan, described. Vidhan, commands. Vihina, devoid or without. Param is supreme. And then last line again, Kim means why, U means indeed, Rodishi, weep, Manasi, in mind, Sarvasamam, same in all. Brahm does not have a body, nor is it disembodied without a body. Okay. Indeed, it has no such states as waking, dreaming, and sleeping. It is beyond names and rules, commands. Beyond being the self-same Brahm, O mind, why do you weep? So he just keep giving us the pointers towards the Brahma so that we have some idea. But right now it's only theoretical idea for us. For us to experience, we need to meditate. Then we'll experience it. But right now we are just learning what this great yogi is telling us. Gagan upam shuddh vishal samam ati sarv vivarjit sarv samam gat sar visar vikar samam kim urodshi manasi sarv samam. Gagan is sky. Upma is light. Shuddh is pure. Vishal, great. Samam, same or even. Ati, ati means extremely, like a beyond. Sarv all, vivarjit, free from. Sarv all, samam, same. Gat, gat means gone. Sar, essence. Visar, non-essence. Vikar, change. Samam, same. Kim means why. U, indeed. Rodishi, weep. Manasi, mind. Sarv samam, same in all. The all-pervading Brahma, spotless, pure, Shuddha, and vast like space, Vishal. It transcends all and it permeates all. It is present in the essential and the non-essential as well as in the manifestation. So it's everywhere. There's no place where it's not. Being the self-same Brahm, O mind, why do you weep? Ih dharam vidharam virag taram. Ih vastu vivastuhu virag taram. Ih kam vikam virag taram. Kim urodshi manasi sarv samam. Ih means here, dharam, virtue or duty. Vidharam, the vice, devoid of attributes, vidharam. Virag, free from desire. Virag, rag means like attachment, the desires. Taram, more than. Ih means this, vastu, thing. Vivastu, devoid of things. Virag, free from desire. Taram, more than. Ih, this, calm, desire. We calm, absence of desire. Virag, dispassionate. Taram, more than. And the last line, Kim, why? U means indeed. Rodishi, weep. Manasi, in mind. Sarv samam, same in all. Brahm is unconcerned about virtue and vice. Okay? It is indifferent to wealth and poverty. Vastu, vivastu. Free from passion and dispassion. Being the self-same Brahma, O mind, why do you weep? Okay. See, sometimes we get confused. Dharam and vidharam. See, all those duties, all those virtues and the vices, they are for this manifested world. Manifested. So if we live a life of dharam, we can keep our mind calm. We have done our duty. There is a calmness, there's a purity, there is a tranquility, then we can see the reality. That's the reason we are supposed to live a life of the Dharma. But the Atma, Brahma, is beyond that. Sukha, Dukha, Vivarjit, Sarv Samam. Ih Shok, Vishok, Vihinaha, Param. Guru, Shishya, Vivarjit, Tattva, Param. Kim Urodshi, Manasi, Sarv Samam. Sukha, happiness. Dukha, sorrow. Vivarjit, free from. Sarv, all, Samam, same. Ih, this. Shok, sorrow. Vishok, free from sorrow. Vihinaha, devoid or absent. Param Supreme, Guru. Shishya, Shishya is a disciple. Vivarjit, free from. Tattva, essence. Param Supreme. Kim, why, who indeed. Rodashi, weak. Manasi, in mind. Sarv Samam, same in all. The all-pervading Brahm is free from pleasure and pain. See this pleasure and pain like a dukh and the sukh. Kha means the senses. So something which is very pleasant to the senses is a sukha. Something disturbing to the senses is a dukkha. And Brahm is not the senses. So that's why he said the all-pervading Brahm is free from pleasure and pain. Grief and joy. Grief and joy is at a mental state. In that supreme reality, there's no guru and no disciple. Okay, guru and the disciple, in essence, there's no difference. In the Atma of a guru and a disciple, no difference. It's the same. Guru doesn't have a bigger Atma than the disciple. It's the same Brahm in both of them. So in that supreme reality, there's no guru and no disciple. Being the self-same Brahma mind, why do you weep? Na kil ankur saraha visaraha iti. Na chal achal samye visamyam iti. Avichar vichar vihinam iti. Kim urodshi manasi sarv samam. Na means not, kil means verily. Ankur, ankur means it's like a offshoot. That's ankur, something coming out. It's like a play or offspring. Sar, essence. Visar, absence of essence. Iti means thus, na means not. Chal, moving, achal, unmoving. Samya, sameness. Visamya, it's like a variety of things or odd. Okay, so sameness and variety. Iti means thus, avichar, without thought. Vichar, thought or reason. Vihinam, devoid. Iti this, came why, who indeed, rodashi, weep, manasi, in mind, sarv samam, same in heart. In Brahm, there is no play, no offspring, no offshoots, no strength or weakness. It has neither mobility nor immobility, neither equality nor inequality. It is devoid of discrimination and indiscrimination, vichar, avichar, being the self-same Brahm. Oh mind, why do you weep? There are only 3 more verses left. Let's try to finish this chapter today. Ihisar samuchye saram iti. Kathitam nij bhav vibhed iti. Vishyehe karam tvam asatyam iti. Kim urodshi manasi sarv samam. Ih means here, sar, essence. Samuchye, that means a totality or accumulation. Samuchye. Saram, quintessence. Okay? It's like an essence which is beyond quintessence. Iti means this, kathitam, described. Nij bhav, own consciousness, like a private emotion, nij bhav. Vibhed, different. Iti means this, vishye. Vishye is the objects of perception. Karantvam, instrument of perception. Karan. Karan is always some kind of a instrument. Asatyam, untruthful. Iti means thus, came why, who indeed, Rodishi weep, Manasi in mind, Sarv Samam, same in all. Brahma is the quintessence of all essences. And its nature has been stated as being separate from itself. Any action is the sensible phenomena is unreal. Being the self-same Brahma, O mind, why do you weep? Verse number 31. Bahuda shrutyaha pravadanti yataha. Vi adi idam mrig toe samam. Yadi cha ek nirantra sarv samam. Kim u rodshi manasi sarv samam. Bahuda, many. Shrutya, Shrutis, that means the Vedas, the Shrutis. Pravadanti, declare. Yata, since. Viyad, sky or ether. Adi means etc. Idam, this. Mrig, mrig means deer. Toy, thirst. Samam, like. Yadi, if. Cha means and, ek means one. Nirantar, eternal. Sarv, all. Samam, same. Kim means why, who indeed, Rodishi weep, Manasi in mind, Sarv Samam, same in all. In various ways, the Upanishads, the Vedas, declare that the manifested space, earth, etc., are like water in a mirage. Truly, Brahma alone exists equally in all. Okay? Because all this manifested world is like a mrig trishna. This is a mrig toy means. It's a thirst. Mrig trishna. A mirage. Truly, Brahma alone exists equally in all. Being the self-same Brahma, O mind, why do you weep? Why do you weep? You got to look at it. Why do we weep? Because he keeps on asking us. The reason he keeps on repeating so that we can reflect upon why are we weeping? Why are we sad? What is our grief? Is this grief only for the transitory? We have not seen, we are not moving towards the permanency, and we are just crying about something which is unreal, which is a transitory, which is temporary, which is not ours anyway, and we are crying about it. So that's the reason. There's a reason he repeated this. Kim u rodshi manasi sarv samam. That means we got to emphasize on that. We got to reflect upon that. Instead of looking outside, look within. Why my mind is crying? Because he says, rodshi manasi. Mind is the one which is crying. Reflect upon it. Let's look at the last one. Vindati vindati nahi nahi yatra chandaha lakshmanam nahi nahi tatra sam ras magnaha bhavit putaha pralapatihi tatvam param avadhutaha. Vindati vindati. That means one finds. one attends. Nahi, nahi, is not, that means nothing. Yatra, where, chandaha, verse, lakshanam, attribution. Nahi, nahi, is not, tatra, there. Sam means one, ras means essence, magnaha, immersed in, magan. Bhavit putaha, becoming pure. Pralapati describes Tattvam, reality. Param supreme, Avadhutaha. That's Avadhut. And who is a Avadhut? A person who has shaken off ignorance. Avadhut. We are here to shake off this ignorance, this agyan. Ignorance means agyan. And agyan about what? What is real? What is not real? Who am I? This is our job here. So then the last verse he says, where the intellect cannot reach. How can there be any form of composition, Chand? So beyond intellect, the great Avadhut, after purifying himself through meditation and becoming absorbed in infinite bliss, has sung spontaneously about Brahma. So that's what the Tatrij is saying. That whatever I said, maybe it doesn't make sense to you, but in my deep meditation, in those moments of oneness with the infinite, I have sung this. And from here we can see that he is telling us to purify your mind also. He is telling us to meditate also. He is telling us to become fully absorbed in this Brahma also. That's why he has put in, I mean, sure, it was not any effort on his part, but definitely there are so many verses over here. There's a reason that he kept telling us, Kim Urodishi Manasi Sarvasamam. Pay attention to that. Reflect upon that. Take charge of your life. So we'll end our class over here. Let me do the Shanti Mantra, then we'll meditate. And I want you to reflect upon these verses. And next week, when we meet again in this class, if you have any questions, we can talk about it. But right now, I want you to meditate deeply for at least few minutes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaye Purnameva Visheshyate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Make sure you are sitting straight. Back, neck, head. Close your eyes. Breathe mindfully. And try to meditate with the sound of Om.
Oh.